Hello, hello. Welcome for another episode of the Author Spotlight. Hey, it's the host with the motion, man, Darren and Palmer. So excited to be with you once again, where I go behind the scenes with best-selling authors from around the globe. And man, we got a treat today. I got my man Mike Nelson on. Before I have him come on his own way, I just want to share a little bit about him. He's an author, certified speaker, educational leader, and motivational speaker. Mike travels across the country helping schools close the achievement gap. This is done through interactive workshop sessions and school assemblies. Mike also works with colleagues and universities helping to support, challenge, and motivate first-year students to academically and personally be successful. Growing up in Philadelphia, the city of brother love, my ad, education was a struggle for Mike. Being an average student at best, Mike could never make the connection between education and his future. What Mike did was find the one thing he liked about school, public speaking, and turn his passion into purpose. I shared a little bit about your bio, Mike. Fill in any of the gaps there, man, that I might have left out.
Oh, man. Well, first and foremost, it's always a pleasure to be in the same space as you, big time. So,
man.
Thank you for having me on. Man, I nothing really to fill in. I know I do have a master's. I do, which we'll get into a little bit. You know, I am a author of a book, man. But most importantly, man, I just, I always say I love God and I love God's people and I love doing His work, man. So that's about it. Nothing real super deep, super sexy, man. Just short, sweet, and simple and to the point.
Oh, okay. And don't forget your real.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. As a matter of fact, tomorrow we will be celebrating 5 years of marriage. So I'm super, super excited about that. So she then took over the whole entire calendar for tomorrow. So that means I had to do everything has to come before. Everything got to come after. So tomorrow, for everybody, it's not going to be a good day to contact me. So,
hey man, that's a good thing. Hey, anybody who got some sense would understand that. Definitely didn't want to forget her because I know she's such a big part of your life.
Oh, absolutely, man.
Yeah, so I definitely want to give her props. But just share with us. You shared a little bit about it before we got started. They heard about some of the accolades about Mike Nelson. Now, I want you just to share. Give us the name of your book and why did you write this as your first book? Because you could have went so many ways, but you went this way. Please share that with the audience, Mike.
Yeah, so shameless plug. The book is called Yes, You Can, 7 Keys to Student Success. You can find it on my website. You could also find it on Amazon. And I think for me, the reason why I decided to go this route as far as students is because that's the space that I speak in. I'm in the educational field. So it could have been easy. I could have easily said, you know what, I'm going to do a personal development book. I could have went the religious route and say, you know what, I'm going to do a devotional. But I thought for real, the very first book, I was like, well, since you're already in this space heavy, why don't you decide to write a book that students can use as a resource guide? So I know the schools up here in Philly, and they have schools all maybe a little bit down south and some up top is it's called Mastery Charter. So one of the campuses actually used the book as curriculum for their seniors. So I am super excited about that. But I think for me, just knowing that, okay, Mike, this is the space that you speak in, it don't make sense for you to try to write something where you're not in that space all the time. So I was like, well, let's come out with a book that students can use. Specifically because I know for me, I know what it's like being a student growing up. You don't care nothing about school. My 2 favorite subjects was lunch and gym. So I was like, look, Mike, you got to find a way to be able to help these students to be engaged. And so for real, I think that's one of the reasons why I decided to go this route. And I'm sure that there'll be some other books coming, but that's the reason why I decided to go this route first.
Man, that makes a lot of sense. And I just want to share for those who are checking this interview out, make sure when you're thinking about your book or whatever you feel like that your calling, your purpose may be, or go to an area where you see that you might already be in, or maybe an area that you know that you might be pivoting, headed into that direction. Make sure that the book complements you. And I really mean that from the bottom of my heart. Make sure that we call it B squared, book to business, book to ministry, however you want to use it, is making sure that the book accommodates the other things that you have going on. Don't just write a book. Don't get me wrong. You could write that, but typically if it's your first book or something that you want to get out, make sure that you have that main staple, that main piece that allow for you to be able to move forward, whatever initiative, mission, nonprofit, whatever it is that you're doing, move it forward. So you're not just stuck with a book. The book is a movement. Do you agree with that, Mike?
Exactly.
Okay.
Oh man, let me tell you something, man. Everybody, you know, I think as you know, the stats are, you know, for people that want to write a book and then the people that actually get it done. And I think one of the reasons why people struggle of writing a book, I think one of the things is because, again, they try to figure out what's so sexy, like, oh, this is going to sell. And I'm like, it don't make a difference, though. If that's not your skill set or expertise, don't do it. So the reason why it took me, and this is going back and forth, this is just a manuscript. It took me about a month to actually write the book because it was everything I was already speaking. So again, Darren is right on the money. Please, when you write your book, like, don't try to be too deep. Just where does your skill set lie? And then you go ahead and you put the book out there and make sure that you hit up Darren. He gonna get you tight.
Come on, man. You know we're going to do it just like a tape of fade, man. We're going to make sure you're taken care of. We're going to make sure you're taken care of around here. And you know, and Mike, I mean, when I'm listening to this, share with it because you do a lot. Like, I mean, your bio you couldn't put it all in the bio for one thing because you lose, the attention span, especially if you're dealing with students. So I know you are a person who are expert with attention span. So, but with you being a husband, serving at your local church, you're doing stuff in the community. I mean, you're speaking all over the place, man. I mean, you're creating content. You're doing so much. So I know people are asking, like, how in the world does this guy get that much content done? Could you speak? What was some of the hacks that allow for you to be able to create content with the life that you have? Yeah,
so I think first and foremost, in my book of faith, it says, to whom much is given, much is required. And so I knew, that I had a calling on my life. Now, I didn't know it was necessarily going to be this. But once I realized, like, Darren, like, I have a voice and people actually speak, I was like, maybe I could kind of do something with this. But I think for me, one of the first things I realized is how to be able to do more, because at the end of the day, we only get 24 hours. Like, you can only do but so much. It don't matter who you are. You could be LeBron James. You could be Jerry Jones. You could be Michael Jordan. You only get 24 hours. So I think really maximizing the 24 hours that you have. So every single thing, I tell people all the time, if I don't put it in my calendar on my phone, it's not going to make, I'm going to forget all about it. Like people think I be playing. I have an alarm. It tells me at 9:35 p.m., get in bed. Like, that's the time I'm supposed to be in bed. Typically, I eat lunch around the same time. Very, very, very structured. And I always say, if you're trying to be, no matter what you're trying to do, but if you're trying to be successful on purpose, you can't just be leaving your schedule like by accident. Like, well, I got a free 3 hours. I'm like, 3 free hours? I'm like, You need to be filling that with spaces of things that you need to be doing. So again, I do serve at my local church. As a matter of fact, I got to preach this Sunday. I go every Wednesday. I got a contract with the school. Matter of fact, 2 schools now where I go and I teach life skills. Of course, I'm a husband. I'm still traveling across the country speaking. I got my own speakers that I'm coaching and training. So literally, the most important thing is getting a hold of your 24 hours. Far too many people, I'm like, how you say that you trying to be an entrepreneur or you trying to have a side hustle and you bored? It makes zero sense. So I think that's one of the first things that I would say is really getting a hold on your 24 hours. The second thing I probably would say is that, man, most people underestimate just the grind, man. Like, people think it's something like it's just a cute sweatshirt that people wear. It's a cute saying. I know you see Eric Thomas say it, you see Gary Vee, you see some of the big names say it, but literally living this life and really saying, yo, if I work hard, because I just discovered, Darren, I was like, wait a minute. Yes, you got to be good at your craft, but I found out and discovered that it's people that's very good at their craft, but they're mediocre as far as their work habits and their, getting up every single day and going after it. And I'm like, so you good, but your work ethic, it stinks. Now, on the other side, you got other people, they're kind of okay with their craft, but they are a monster when it comes to grinding. And I think most people, they really underestimate, like, they really think, yo, talent is just going to be enough. And I'd be like, my dear brother, you have no idea. Talent is not enough. I always say, I might be a quarter talented, like 25%. I might be 25% talented, but the other 75%, that hard work, the doing stuff that other people are not willing to do, I think that's the greatest equalizer. For example, I tell students all the time, look, you go to college, you're going to be going to college with students. You have to compete with them. Their parents, they drive in Benzes. They got all these cars. They got all this money. But at the end of the day, they cannot force their child to get up. So the greatest equalizer that we have, if you feel like me, you just like, Mike, I'm not smart enough. I'm not good enough. I can't write. I'm telling you, I got here, and it's nowhere where I'm going to be in the next 5, 10 years. I got here from grinding. So please get control of your time and go grind.
Man, let the church say amen, boy. I'm telling you, don't preach the word. What offering play that, man? What offering play? I'm going to put some money in that right now. Hey, I'll tell you right now. Hey, man, that is awesome advice by Mr. Nelson, man. I'm telling you right now, that is the equalizer, man. You don't have to look for Denzel Washington. I'm telling you right now that is the equalizer, because if you take your mind and you write, Mike, so many people think it's cute, for men and women, it's sexy, the term entrepreneur, or even for those who might be in the corporate or even working a job, you want this position. You want to get paid more. You want to do this until it comes down to that work ethic, till it takes time to the mentality, the mental fortitude that you got to have to go to that next level, whatever that next level may be for you out there, for those who are listening. But please understand that when it comes to entrepreneurship, I hear people all the time, Mike, like you just brought up, man, I want to do this, man, but are you willing to get up that early in the morning? Are you willing to stay at the office that late? Are you willing to get on that plane? Are you willing to take that ride? Are you willing to help somebody who don't understand the contract to get through the point? Or are you willing to serve and go in for free for something to work to build a relationship to later get some business 30 days or 90 days down the road? See, all those things like that, man, when it comes to that part of that grinding and that state that you got to have to kill, that's, and I don't mean kill literally. So y'all don't see me hate letters.
Right.
Make sure that you write down those goals, that you're accomplishing the goals, that you're executing. So when you hear me say kill, I'm talking about executing on your goals. You have to be a killer for us executing on your goals. And Mike bringing that up. So many people saying that they want to write the whole nine. And Mike, this is a perfect segue. I want you to share with the audience too. It's one thing to say, I want to write a book. You brought up a small percentage of people who actually write the book. Now, also share with us, what made you believe that you could write a book when so many had failed at the task?
Well, number one, I probably would have been extra scared, but I just never looked at the stats until afterwards, because I was like, yo, I might not make it. But since the stat is out now, I think, what allowed me to get over the hump. I think far too many people, when they're writing their book, okay, so let me break it down this way. There's a few reasons why people don't ever get over to the other side. I think one of the things is that people are so afraid of how are people going to feel about my content. Now, Darren, me and you both know, bro, 9 times out of 10, nobody's going to read through your entire book. That's the first thing. Like, not a lot of people are not reading today. So people are not going to read through your whole book. So they're not going to be able to get through all of your content. But I think a lot of people are, afraid of how they will be judged or if their content is good. And finally, I got to the point where I said, Mike, it doesn't matter if they think it's good or not. If it's going to be able to touch one student's life, then that's all the difference. So I think for me, I was like, all right, Mike, this is the reason why you need to put out the book. And this is the reason why, even when you get writer's block, this is the reason why you need to keep going. I think the second thing is just, man, it's something powerful that happens, as you know, Dan, is when you complete something, man. It's just something powerful. Like when you look at the stats of people who say they want to write a book, and you see it, it's disproportionate to people who actually got it done. And I said to myself, bro, I hate losing. I was like, yo, I'm not trying to quit. Look, I was halfway through it. I was like, yo, I didn't came too far at this point to turn around. If I was going to turn around, I should have turned around at page 20. But I'm too far at this point. I got the book cover done. I got all that stuff that I was like, Mike, keep going. I was talking to somebody not too long ago, and they said they've been trying to write a book for 10 years. I'm like, 10 years? Yo, we got people, Darren, we got other people that can get you right in 90 days. I'm talking about from start to finish. Your book could be done edited, published, book cover, all that. I'm like, 10 years? So I think a lot of people, man, it is a process as far as you writing a book. Like, but there's no excuse now. You have other people like yourself, like others I know, who have boot camps, who have coaching that can literally take you from point A all the way through Z, show you exactly what you need to do. So I think most people just being afraid of how people are going to feel about my content. Sometimes the process of how long it's going to take, getting feedback from the editor when they tell you, hey, if I was you, I would go back and fix this. And then I think the last thing is that, as we said, a lot of people, they just don't know what they want to write about. You just all over the place. I'm like, okay, you're writing a book for students, but yet it got some stuff about, and no disrespect, I'm a Christian, but you got stuff about the church stuff in there, and then you jump to a story about personal development, and I'm like, let's keep a single focus. So I think that's why a lot of people, they just get stuck in the dreaming phase. As you know, they have those things where people write people are in school getting their doctorate degree, and they're almost done their PhD, and they do everything. They call it, I think it's ABD, all but dissertation is done. So they did all the coursework. You didn't do every single last thing, and you still have not yet written your dissertation. I think that's where a lot of people are when it's come to writing a book. Look, you said it to people. You wrote the chapters down, like this is chapter 1, this is chapter 3. You wrote all that down, but you haven't wrote the manuscript. So listen to me. If you out there and you saying, Mike, I want to write a book, but I'm just not, like, I'm on the fence. Trust me. People have come back to me. Now, I don't know if they was lying, Darren. I don't know if they got through the whole book, but they was like, the portions of the book, because I was like, okay, you ain't read the whole thing. Portions of the book have changed my life. And there's no greater feeling when something that you put out, your work, the thing that God has gifted you in, and somebody can say, my life was changed because of the steps that I took, man. So, yeah.
Hey, I mean, it's on fire right now. I mean, hey, get the extinguishers, get the people out. I mean, man, Mike Nelson is going in on. I mean, I'm totally agreeing, because I'm just glad that I have somebody too that's on this episode who just giving it to people real, man. I like to say raw and uncut like USDA steaks. I mean, you got to give it to people that way, because they're really, some of you all out there are just not getting it. And don't get me wrong. I mean, you can follow the greats, and I want to piggyback off what Mike is sharing. You can follow the greats, but if you're not willing to go out and execute, it don't do good. It's no good for you being around nobody if you ain't gonna execute. You can listen to everything that Mike said. You can cheer for Mike the whole time. You say, oh, go, Mike, go. You can be watching him travel all around the world. You see him and his wife on vacation. You see all this stuff that Mike's doing. He's giving you the key to success as well. He's giving you the secrets, but at the same time, you won't implement, you won't apply anything that he says. It's great to have the information, but you got to have application as well. And so you must understand that, or as your journey out there, people. That is what Mr. Nelson is sharing with us. Don't take it lightly what Mike is sharing. You have to go and get it done. I'm going to tell you right now, and this is just a testimony for me. Bro, when I first got my first book done, everything changed. I would procrastinate, wasn't good at finishing stuff, went to school, didn't finish college. I always had a great idea, but never could accomplish or finish anything. When I finished that first book, everything went to the next level then. Yeah, I was able to have a relationship. Then was able to have a relationship with my wife now and be able to stand in it. Was able to be, who I need to be as a father because of that. Was able to go back and get a bachelor's. I'm not saying, whatever it was, in seminary. Right. I was able to finish that. It was time because I finished that. Then I started becoming an executioner. I became an executioner. When I set a goal, said something I was going to do, because now I know the system now. Now it's something that happened. So when you say that, Mike, you were speaking to me when I heard that. Bro, I'm telling you, what this company was selling for 30 days wouldn't be here without you. You said what, Mike? Yeah, I said no. As I'm speaking to you, I'm speaking to the audience. I'm speaking to me too. I'm with you, man. I'm with you. I'm telling y'all, the podcast would not be here if it wasn't for that first book getting completed. Everything that we've done as a company, all the influencers that's been on these different shows that we had, it wouldn't have happened. Mike is right. It was just some like magical or spiritual happened. When I got that done, like I had to aha moment. I was like, man, at a people, like everything shifted. And I can't explain, like I said, I don't know why it would be that. I don't know what it was. You know, I can't just put a title behind it or whatnot. But when I did that and got that accomplished, everything in my life changed, man. Health, everything changed when I was able to get that done. So this is bigger than just a book. That's why I have influenced Mike on, because those are nuggets that are transferable skills that you can implement wherever you are. So if you never get a book done, if you're not a speaker, you might be a welder, you might be a mechanic, you might be a truck driver, whatever your thing is, just realize you can implement the same thing that Mike is sharing for your life and go to the next level on that. And Mike, please share with us too, man. What has been your experience? You shared a little bit about it, about people sharing the snippets that they might have read out of your book, how it changed their life. Could you express to us to what it is meant far as your thoughts of your wife, knowing that you are a published author, what it's done for you in your business by being a published author as well, and then also the impact of others around you, whether it be family, cousins, nieces, whoever it may be, who now look at life differently because they have an author in the family?
Yeah, man. Well, first and foremost, man, you know, I think that respect level from my wife, she's always respected me, but I think it has, again, when you see the stats, and listen, when this is over, I want you to go look at the stats of people who have written a book, and, you know, people who have said they wanted to write a book, and the people who have done it. And I think, you know, when she said, wow, this is a mountain that I watched you climb. Like, she saw me in here stressing out, like, yo, you know what? I'm about to throw this whole thing away and quit. And to be able to get over to the other side, we still working on her. She read through like half of the book. She was like, look, it's not terrible, but she was like, I'm not a big reader. So she's just like, look, when it come out on audio, that's going to be my thing. So we still got to get her to finish reading the book. But I think her respect for me has definitely grown, saying, wow, you were able to get something that a lot of people talk about, but as you said, you actually were able to execute on it. Second thing, business-wise, as you know, Darren, you know, having a book, and you don't even have to be deep. I tell people all the time, I'm not that deep. I promise you I'm not. The concepts are very, very, very simple, but it allows you to be an expert in your space. I don't know what it is about churches, schools, businesses. When you say you're an author and you wrote a book, and I think it's that thing that, a lot of people, they say they want to write a book, but the people who have actually done it, so when you become an expert in your lane, people kind of view you different. Like, oh, my man wrote a book? Wow, we got to make sure that we bring him in, or can we buy copies for our students? And shoot, now, matter of fact, when I go in and I speak now, I say, look, you bring me in to speak to your students, but also you're going to make sure that you get these books. So now I'm able to increase revenue because I do have a book. And I think the last thing when you talk about family/legacy, bro, I grew up, man, now we wasn't dirt poor, but we wasn't balling either. So I grew up West Philly, man, and there's nobody in my family bloodline, and unless it's somebody out there, I don't know, somebody in the bloodline, nobody has ever written like a book. And so for me, just being able to say, yo, it's somebody in our family with the last name Nelson. It's somebody that's my skin color who has written a book. Somebody that's fairly young. I'll be 30 February, but somebody that's fairly young and saying, yo, if he did it, he got the same blood as us. He looks like us. We share the same last name. So there's no reason why nobody else in our family should not be able to write a book. Because as I always tell people, Darren, if there's one person in the whole entire world who has accomplished anything that you want to accomplish, it no longer makes it impossible. That means that person has had the blueprint, and somebody can show you specifically what you need to do. So yeah, man, I think it is impacted my wife, it's impacted business-wise, and it has definitely impacted my whole entire family, man.
Woo! I mean, that's it, man. He's the poster child of what this is all about. I mean, Mike Nelson is the poster child. Everything that he just shared there, people, if you don't get that, he has done something now that will go before him for years to come. That, you know, after he transitioned and he look upon his face, the whole nine, here, if it's not taken up by the end or taken away, hey, he still will be making an impact. No matter what new technology come out, what medium people are viewing it on, they might just swipe up in the air and some pop out and they can read the book or just start speaking to them. However they choose to do it, The key is that he got it done. It's impacted his wife. It has impacted him in business, far as also connecting, because he's giving the people something that they're able to, there's something tangible that they can carry with them. So it's great that Mike got, and I done heard Mike speak several times. And the thing is he's a wonderful speaker, but the thing is though, he got something tangible for people to go home with now. Yeah. I mean, he was dope. I love him, man. He was funny, man. He gave us some nuggets I had never thought about. But now I'm able to go back. Oh man, what did he say about so and so and so? Oh, but I'm able to go back to that book. I don't have to read the whole book. I can go back and flip to a section and say, oh, that's what he said. That's what I'm gonna do when I go back to school right here. Or this is what I'm gonna do when I go back to work. Or this is what I'm gonna do and apply to my marriage. That's what you want to think about, is the importance of doing that. And you will change your mindset, because now you're open for opportunities that was there the whole time. But I like this. My pastor shares this: preparation precedes blessings. If you prepare, you align for the blessing. You align for the opportunity to come your way. So it didn't really hit me though. And I shared this story speaking with Mike. I'm just going to give y'all some real numbers. I get a speaking engagement. Boom. Had a mentor told me, Darren, you need to have a book. Man, you okay with the speaking? You need to have a book, have something to be looked at as expert. I follow that advice. First time having the books available, man, got a speaking engagement for around 2,500. Man, I'm balling now, because I'm thinking, man, I'm getting more than a 2-piece from Popeyes and church speaking, man. You know what I'm saying? And a red soda to go with it for speaking. Man, I done made it, man. Mama, I made it. And so, then the next thing I know, doing the speaking engagement, the books is in the back of the room. Over 600 people in attendance. Did 600 buy the book? No, 600 didn't. But look at here. 300 did. At $20 a pop. Went home with an extra 6,000. Now, I realized that the books took over more than what I was compensated for the keynote.
And either way, it don't matter. Look, I said, look, I got to the point. I don't care if the revenue come from the books or speaking. It don't matter. It's in the same pot. I no longer care. But you gotta have a book, because again, think about it. If you would have never had that book, you would have missed out on impacting 300 people's lives and being able to benefit financially, all because you didn't have a book. So it's cool that you got the 2,500, but look on the back end what you could have missed just because you didn't have a book.
There you go. And that's the whole point of what I'm bringing up, because now guess what happened off of that too? It's an encore going on now, because those who were there was able to say, wow, we love what you did, but I got a book. I'm going to give this to my superior. I'm supposed to go give this to our superintendent. I'm supposed to go give this to our student advisor. But now they don't just say that guy was great, but we don't know who he was. I think his name was Darren. No, here's his book. And he got information in there. The whole book right here. So there we go. It doesn't matter about that. So now it's the overflow is happening. That's what I wanted to share with the audience, because it wasn't just about the book. So that was great. But I also want you to understand this. You have a fiduciary responsibility to take care of your family, your church, also your team members, the people who work for you. And the thing that you got to understand is, look what I was doing to my family. I always talk about the OC, and I'm not talking about Orange County, California, my friend, but I'm talking about the opportunity cost. Look at what I was hindering the growth of my company, the growth of others around me. Look what I was doing to my family because I wouldn't get it done. That's something that I want y'all to think about too. So yeah, it's great for everybody else too, but you have a responsibility for your family in the household that's dependent on you. So it's great for everybody else. I understand value. I understand everybody else, but hey, do not get it twisted. Mike has a responsibility to his wife.
Yes, sir.
Before he has a responsibility for me, before he has a responsibility to the people who he's helping speaking, his wife, he got God, then his wife. That's the order. You see what I'm saying? So do not get it twisted and let people fool you into thinking, oh man, I gotta do this for everybody else, and then you're not taking care of home. No. Because the better you are at home in other areas, you're going to be able to add more value and be able to do more for more people. So I might get just hit us with some great nuggets. And I don't want, for those who looking to have a, because I know there's plenty of people in the educational area, all those who listen to this podcast, get Mike to come in. Also, if you're trying to be a speaker, you're trying to go to the next level, this year, don't take my word for it. Just look at stuff up. He'll be able to send you some stuff if you can't find it, whatever you need to be. And he definitely is a wonderful speaker, a great speaker. So Mike, share with them any information, how they can connect with you on social media, website, or how they can book you, man, to come in.
Yeah, so for those of you who are interested in any of the services, you can send me an email. That is info, I-N-F-O, at MikeNelsonSpeaks.com. So just again, that's info at MikeNelsonSpeaks.com. If you want to follow me via the website, it's MikeNelsonSpeaks.com. I'm on Instagram at Mike the Motivator. I'm on Twitter as M Nelson Speaks, and Facebook, which is Mike Nelson, but it's like 50,000 Mike Nelson. So you got to probably type in motivational speaker Mike Nelson, and then I should pop up. So again, info at MikeNelsonSpeaks.com is the email. M Nelson Speaks is my Twitter. Mike the Motivator is my Instagram, and Mike Nelson is my Facebook. And please shoot me any questions, any concerns, anything that you want to go over. If you have questions about the book, you have questions about, hey, you know what, I'm interested in learning and, becoming a better speaker or getting speaker opportunities. Or if you say, hey, I want you to come in and I want you to do something with my students, please don't be a stranger. Feel free to reach out.
Yeah, no doubt. Thank you, Mike, so much for sharing, man. Well, it's been a wonderful episode. Last but not least, Mike, could you share with that person out there, man, saying like, hey, man, I see Mike, he's booming, his business booming. He got so much going on. I see why he has a book. But you know what, man, I'm just a kid from so-and-so, or I'm just a person from so-and-so in the back of nowhere. And I got a story. I know I have an expertise in something, but I don't know why I should share my story. I'm not Carlos Slim. I'm not Warren Buffett. I'm not Oprah Winfrey. So could you share with that person out there who think that their story isn't valid, the importance of still sharing their story with the world, even though they might not be famous?
Yeah. Book of Faith, man, don't despise small beginnings wherever you are. So a mentor of mine told me this very, very powerful. He said, everybody that you see where they are now, they had to start where they were. So everybody had to come out with a starting point. Amazon back in the day, they was in a garage. Like, I'm talking about a garage. Now Amazon is Amazon's a multi-billion-dollar company. You look at Apple. Apple started in a garage. Now Apple is worth $1 trillion. Yes. Is it going to be hard work? Yes. So let me throw this out there. If you're not ready to work hard, you might as well throw the whole plan right out the window. If you're not willing to have some lonely nights, if you're not willing to cry in the shower or smile in the office, if you don't have emotional intelligence, as I always say, in order for you to accomplish your dream, you're going to have to go through a few nightmares, bro. Sis, you're going to have to go through multiple nightmares to make it to the other side. But here's my encouragement to you. I'm saying, and I'm nowhere near where I'm going to be 5-10 years from now, but I'm saying, if I can get the ball rolling, a kid from West Philly who mom dropped out of high school, who dad was in special ed and dropped out of high school, who left the family, if I can do it, I'm saying so can you. So look, the one thing that everybody is susceptible to is pain. Everybody goes through pain. So you've been through pain. Like, that's universal. It crosses religion, race. Everybody's been through pain. I'm sure in your story, you've been through some traumatic experience. Look, everybody's story is not that they homeless, they were shot 10 times. I've never been homeless. I've never been locked up, and I've never been shot at. So listen to me. I'm saying with my story and the stuff that I've been able to go through, and most importantly, because I always say, nobody cares about what you've been through if you can't show them how you came through. So if you can show people, this is where I was, this is where I am now, I'm telling you, it's the craziest thing, Darren. When I get paid to speak, I share this in my speakers group. I'll be like, I wouldn't have did this for free. I can't believe that somebody paid me $2,000. Somebody paid for a plane ticket for me to travel because of a gift that I got, that I discovered. So I'm saying, listen, you want to write a book, you want to get, you want to get into, you trying to go to the NBA, you want to become a professional painter, whatever you want to do. You got Darren right here, you got me, you got other people in our spaces that are living testimonies that literally, you can start from the bottom, be in the trenches, and consistently work your way up. The problem with a lot of people, Darren, is that they want to shine, but they don't want the grind. And I'm like, the two go together. Matter of fact, if there is no grind, you never get to see the shine. So get up right now. Like when this is over, go look at yourself in the mirror and say, I owe it to myself. And as you said, Darren, I owe it to my family to be the best version of me, physically, financially, spiritually, emotionally. And I promise you too, my friend, can be successful.
Man, I'm telling you, man, I'm telling you, this was a great show today, man. I mean, I'm pumped up. Y'all know I stay motivated, pumped up. I'm over here being a student. This is why I had this show, man. I'm talking about we go behind the scenes with those who are planet shakers, those who are change agents, those who are doing it big, best-selling authors across the globe. We got West Philly's own, my man, Mike Nelson on there, who defied the odds, knowing that he can do anything through Christ is possible, man. And he did it, man. So, and this is just the beginning with him. So don't think this is the apex for Mike Nelson. This is, you just see where he done came from, but he's still on a journey. He's still perfecting his craft. He's still moving forward and empowering others. So, hey, when you see him 6 months from now, he's going to be better than what he was on this particular episode. 6 years from now, he's going to be better than what he was 6 months from now. So you have to realize that it's for continual learning. It's continued education, continue growing, continue grinding, baby, so you can continue to shine. Hey, man, I want to just thank you, brother.
I appreciate it.
Thank you for coming on. We definitely got to get together on some more stuff, man. I got some stuff where I'm going to be in the Philly area not too long, too, man. So definitely we got to get together, man. If you're in town, we'll work everything out. But for those of you who are tuned in, remember, man, that this is the year for your new book. Until next time, be great and be blessed.